the more that we identify with being a physical being, we will be more and more affected by what is happening within the lower frequencies of the physical realm. So it can greatly, severely affect people. The more that you're detached from the body, from identifying yourself with your body, with physicality, the less you are affected by what goes on here. Now, we're a supremely high frequency. We're a supremely high vibration. The body-mind is not. Okay, so the body-mind is part of and attuned to the local environment. So whatever is happening within physical reality is going to affect your body-mind, but it doesn't touch the sentience. It doesn't touch what you really are. So the more that you can reside within, as, for, and by what you really are, you're operating in a higher frequency and higher vibrational rate, even while you're inside or temporarily merged with the body, which means you're not affected by what is really going on with the body-mind, if that makes sense. So if you are identifying yourself with your form, your image, you'll be greatly impacted. In fact, you'll be impacted by everything that goes on here. But the more that you realize that you're not that you're the awareness of what is going on, and that awareness is unsullied and untouched, just like the sun is unsullied and untouched by the weather, what you are is unsullied and untouched by what goes on with the body-mind. The more that you can operate with that level of detachment and distance, the less that you'll be affected by what goes on here, because you'll know it doesn't really have anything to do with you. It just doesn't. We're not from here, right? We don't have to worry about fitting in. We didn't come here to stay, right? So allowing yourself to be so greatly affected through identifying with things here, when what goes on here doesn't even have anything to do with you. You're passing through. Does that make sense? So the more that we can adopt that, the more that we'll be in the physical, but not of the physical, as Christ said far more eloquently than I just put. That's really the key, to be in the physical, but not of the physical. And when we're not of the physical, we won't be so affected by what goes on here. And the less affected you are here, the more that you're going to start to experience yourself. And the more that you start to experience yourself, your true self, the better you're going to feel. As difficult as it may be for people to understand, we're not from here and we're not staying here. We are passing through. We're having a temporary human experience. Identifying with everything that goes on here, what is the point of that? What is the takeaway? You're not experiencing yourself. You're not learning about yourself, self-realization. You're not experiencing yourself. You're experiencing everything that's here. It's a very inefficient mode of operating in terms of the evolution of consciousness. So incarnation into the lower frequencies is an accelerant for the evolution of consciousness. But if we don't work with ourselves properly through detachment and realizing the truth about ourselves, then it doesn't serve as an accelerant for the evolution of consciousness. But when we work with ourselves properly, the supremely high frequency being having a low frequency experience, and the things that happen here can only happen here. You can only experience the tangibility of your intentions within the lower frequencies. These realms afford us things that no other realm can afford us. We just simply have to start to work with ourselves in a more detached, compassionate, and loving way towards ourselves and each other. And then, from my perspective, we will be evolving with the greatest efficacy. And I really feel that that's what it's really about. I mean, I can tell you, God is obsessed with efficacy, okay? And I feel the exact same way. Well, let's get this. Let's do this properly. Let's do this joyously. Let's do this with love in our heart, with compassion, with power. Let's do it right. And so we do. When all those things only occur when you're detached, when you're not getting caught up. Okay, here's an image. Give me an image. Okay, so imagine a rock on a riverbed, okay? And the water is, rushing perpetually and endlessly, right? The water is just rushing over the riverbed. It never really stops, right? Okay. So when we agree with something, buy into something, okay? And you could think of what it is that we're buying to as part of the water rushing over us, right? So when we agree or buy into something, that's what it makes it real. Right? As soon as we agree to a belief or a concept or an ideology, blah, 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 whatever, it becomes real. Now, when it becomes real, it becomes solid. Okay. Now, as soon as something becomes solid, we've now created resistance because it's really just energy and it's all equal in weightlessness. But when you accept and agree through identification, it becomes real and solid. Okay. Now, if as this water is coming at you, if you're saying, yes, yes, it's real, real, real and solid, pretty soon the pressures of all these things is going to lift that rock right off the riverbed and send it cascading way down the river. You're going to lose yourself. Mm. There's no way to withstand the pressures of society by picking these beliefs, identifications, and ideology. It becomes too real and it's going to wash you over. It's too much to handle. Now, the funny thing is, the other side of that coin, denial, acceptance, denial, does the same thing. If you say no, right, to something, you are now also making that real. Now that is also solid. Now that will also eventually, with that rushing water, will also just knock you over and take you cascading down the riverbed. So by agreeing and denying, you lose yourself. Now, the opposite of this is to allow, right? If you're that rock and you just allow the water to rush over you and you don't identify and don't reject, you can call this observer mode or just watching or just pure awareness, right? And you just let that water wash right over you. That rock's going to stay right there, completely unaffected. No problem. Okay? So this is really the way to operate as this rock that just allows the flow, the endless flow of energy, water, to cascade, because that's what's always going to happen. So allow it. Don't jump onto it and grab it, and don't try to push against it. Right? There's a very important understanding, and this brings us into a flow state, and this also brings us into the self, because we're not saying yes and we're not saying no. So what we're actually experiencing is the self over and over again. And now nothing here can touch you. Doesn't matter how tumultuous things are, or how difficult things are, or what the challenge is, or what's really going on. It doesn't really matter. You're in a state of allowance. This is vital to understand how this really works.